You're listening to the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast with your hosts, Sir Colin Campbell and Gary A. McGowan.
Good afternoon. It's Sir Colin Campbell here and Gary A. McGowan, and you're tuned into the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast. We're on site right now at the Real Estate Growth Summit, and we have two mega agents sitting in the hot seat here. So we're gonna delve a little bit into them and find out why they're here, what make them so special to be on the podcast. We have Andre Chin.
They're so special.
Yeah,
so special.
Andre Chin from the Kitchener-Waterloo area, and then we have Jerry Van Leeuwen.
Woohoo! Nailed it.
Yeah, there you go. And also Kitchener-Waterloo area, correct?
Yep.
All right. So, guys, why don't you give us a quick 1 minute, 45 seconds bio of who you are and why agents should be listening to you, since a lot of our podcast is around real estate related.
You want me to go? All right. So, Andre Chin, Keller Williams. Been in the business for about 10 years. Mega agent, like Colin said. Our team did $62 million last year in volume, and we're in 2 locations now. So we're in the Kitchener-Waterloo area as well as the Hamilton area, and just looking to continue to grow and to continue to expand. We did $1 million gross last year, and looking to do that again this year, and the goal over the next year to 2 years is to net $1 million in all our locations. So that's what we're building out right now.
Nice.
Love it.
Jerry Van Leeuwen. I've been in real estate now for 5 years. Joined Keller Williams about 3 years ago. That was really the turning point for me, coming from an independent brokerage, and really just been implementing systems and models since, and failing forward at that. On par right now, we got a team, 2 people, myself still in production, and then one administrative assistant, and we're got 23 million closed right now, on pace for about 26.
Fantastic.
So that's it.
No, that is just awesome. So, like you've mentioned, Jerry, you've been in the business now 5 years, and you've catapulted your career where you're going to pretty much end this year at around 26 million. That's I say it would be a goal that most agents never arrive at. Yep. And you're here and you're smashing through these goals. In less than 5 years, you've been able to accomplish that. What would you say are some of the top 3 main reasons that it's allowed you to break through the $1 million GCI range?
I'd say, I'm not at the $1 million GCI range yet. That's next year's goal.
Future
for sure.
thing.
Yeah. Next year it is future.
Future answer
goal.
that.
Yeah. I'd say biggest thing is surrounding yourself with the right people and thinking big. Like Andre and I meet quite regularly, and he's expanded my mind to, like 5 years ago, I would have never even thought that were possible. And just continuing to have the vision and crush it out day to day, even when something does happen. Like, I went through probably 3 or 4 admin systems to get where I am today with the person that I have that's able to build systems and implement it. But just like going through that and learning from that experience and keeping your eye at the end for the end goal.
Okay. Andre?
Top 3 things?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Jerry mentioned, who you surround yourself with does actually matter. And one of the things I love and pride myself on is kind of like the panel today, being the lowest guy on that. Yeah. In every situation, I try not to be the best person, because where else do I go but down if I'm at the top of the mountain already? So I continually try to find people that are better than me, doing things that are better than me, growing faster than me, so I can learn, model after them, and continue to grow my business. The second thing, as you continually chase it, is to not be afraid of breaking and failing over and over and over and over again. Real estate is simple. Selling houses is simple. Leadership is very tough, and it's a constant work in progress. So, my wife, my family, everyone around me will tell you, I am constantly trying to find a way to make myself better, because I never think it's good enough. And I think that helps on the journey and helps grow the people around me into the conversations I want them to have as well. Okay. I think I gave you 2. I didn't give you 3.
Yeah.
But the 2 were big.
Yeah.
They were huge.
Yeah.
You're the best.
There you go.
Really? I would have held that one back.
Making them feel good.
There you go.
That's right.
I need it. I need it to.
Yeah, right. So how do you find yourself? Like, how does somebody go from doing their 12 deals a year to 24 to 50 to 100 to 200 and so on, and getting themselves invited on amazing podcasts like this? But no, getting yourself invited onto panels and things like that. Like, how does that happen?
Well, I mean, it starts with the vision. It starts with the end in mind, and really you have to be a big thinker. Far too often in life, just in general, people don't think it's possible. They tend to limit themselves. They tend to put their own restrictions on themselves. Yet, I remember sitting family reunion 8 years ago, and someone saying, "Hey, do you ever want to be on stage with Gary?" So that's a personal goal. I will get there at some point. Yet, if you're not thinking that way, you'll never get there. So it's just a matter of your level of thinking and continually raise that bar so you can achieve it.
So who's challenging your thinking?
My coach, first off, you guys. I think every time I sit with you or Colin or Jerry, I've got to come up with something bigger to say because you guys are so talented yourselves. So
we've heard it all before.
You guys have all heard it, so I got to recreate it. But no, I open it up for everyone that knows me to challenge me. So my kids, my wife, everyone that knows me, Jerry, Colin. I mean, we talk all the time as well.
Yeah.
I love when people bring harder things to me that no one else has figured out, or that someone's doing well but they're not doing it to the best they can do, and continually pushing me. So I just allow everyone to challenge me, and I find it increases my level of thinking constantly.
It's just it's a different level of conversation, and we feed off each other all the time on that, and it just allows both to grow.
Absolutely. Well, and it comes back, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think when I got back from Mega Camp, we had a sit down, and I was like, Jerry, you're not going to believe what's happening, and then like pouring that into you, and then you're passing it forward as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's remembering that even though we're all kind of competing against each other, so to speak, we really aren't. There's more than enough business for everyone.
Absolutely.
So much business. So why not work together? Why not build together so we can all get there?
Right.
Celebrate.
Now, both of you are team leaders. You have your own individual team. Some have expansion team. And in this business, there's different personalities. How do you manage ego?
Take that one.
And everyone looked at Jerry.
Jerry's like, oh, okay.
I'll take the easy one.
I would say it's all about the questions that you ask at the end of the day, and really putting it into perspective, and if they're even coachable on that front as well, right? And managing ego for yourself as well, and developing yourself, and realizing when you have ego and where is it holding you back, and asking that question, taking that time to think, and really analyzing your personal self and where is it holding you back.
Yep.
And if you take that out of the equation and you stop holding yourself back, it'll naturally progress into the team as well, and into the people that you surround yourself with.
Well, I think the other way to look at it too, Jerry, and I noticed you tapped me when the ego thing came out. We were talking about that earlier. We all
10
have a
minutes
bit.
ago.
We all have a bit of an ego, and that happens. But you're going to attract who you are.
Yeah.
And so if there's an ego problem in your organization, take extreme accountability for it, and just look in the mirror, because it probably starts with you. Right? I had no problem saying to you.
No,
like,
you
I'm
didn't.
the problem.
I just
right?
laughed and said, "Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a couple months now. Remember this conversation?"
Right. And then, your standards are going to set that, right? I mean, we run an organization that you're not allowed to be egotistical, because it's about the numbers and the stats. And you can't hide from that. You can't lie about it. So you've got no place with your ego if your numbers don't show up.
Yeah.
And that's just what it boils down to.
Okay. And what are you? And thank you guys so much for answering that question, because as leaders, we'll see that pop up in our lives in different stages. So thank you so much for addressing that. Next question that I had, and I lost it. So Gary, it's yours.
Yeah. Are you guys hungry yet?
Getting a little hungry. Yeah.
Okay, that was my question. So as we're leading, what are you doing to what are you doing for your own leadership? How are you increasing your? Is that the question?
That's the one.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah. How are you increasing your capacity?
Sure.
I'd say in the past.
Wait, hang You see, he's setting you up every time, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Jerry?
I'd say in the last 2 years, I just really got involved with the agent leadership committee as well, and just personal development, making the point to go out to further trainings like coaching skills camp, the one that Diana just taught in Toronto.
Yeah,
that one was life changing for me. It was
Cool.
my second time through it, but I took so many different takeaways from a year ago when I took it for the first time. So just continuous development and improvement of yourself, and making that conscious effort to really put leadership forefront and really exercise it and learn from it, and just put new things in place as you go. Because I'm continuously learning, and I've failed at leadership too in the past, right? But then I've learned from that failure, and now there's certain things I'll never do again, and there's certain other things that I'll be doing every day or every week with accountability meetings with myself as well. Really showing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd second that, Jerry. Give you your props
Yeah,
there on that one.
yeah.
And on top of it, I think you need to add, the people around you. So coaching.
Yep.
Do you have a coach?
Yep.
Are you going to have someone that leads you as well? Someone who's better than you are at it and can ask you the right questions in order to get you into moving
You got to
forward.
be picky with that.
You do have to be We've
Yeah,
had that talk a
yeah,
couple of times.
yeah.
And from a growth perspective, it never ends. And so
No.
every quarter I redo my growth chart, and if you don't have one, find someone in coaching or ask someone. There's tons around, but I start my year by figuring out how I'm going to grow.
Yeah.
Right, so it never changes, it never stops. So we've got our team summit next week, and we're going to be doing business planning, and that's going to be a big part of our business planning, is to figure out 2020's growth map, so we all know where we're getting to, and then tweaking it and analyzing it. Like, am I growing fast enough? What are the high-level courses I need to take? Where do I need to travel to, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
And it, like everything else, it's just a purpose. So we're very purposeful around it. We structure it, and then we just follow and do what we say we're going to do.
So the question I get, or that I want to ask out of that, is you have your teams.
Yep.
How do you put together a growth plan for your team? Because when I ran my team, I'm like, yeah, we want to hit this number. Do we? Because I know I do, but do we? Like, how do you guys manage that?
Well, I'll take this one, Jerry.
Yeah.
I think from a
There you go.
I think from a you've got to actually compartmentalize them. So everyone on the team is going to have their goals, and then you've got your team goals. So as the leader, as the visionary, I've got to cast the team goal and then figure out how to fill that in.
Fill the gap.
I will fill some of that gap with other team members, yet they're never going to be everyone. So then I have to find the who and the systems that have to change in order to fulfill the team's growth plan. Yet I like keeping everyone in their own lane so they can figure out their growth. What are their goals? I find that team leaders that build the team plan off of everybody else, if they all fail at it, you automatically fail at it.
Right.
And so you've got to build it separately so that you can continue to grow. And if they don't hit their numbers, you can recalculate quickly, adjust quickly, and figure out who you need next. And I think it starts, someone said it to me, Colin, it might have been you, family reunion, and it was a pilot doesn't take off and continually move the plane. He's making very small micro adjustments all the way. But
Wow,
when he
that sounds
takes off,
brilliant.
Yeah, right? Are you sure Colin said that?
might not have been Colin. I might need to take that back.
I think I'd say
I think
that.
that was you, Gary. Right. But he has a clear path on where he's going.
Absolutely.
He knows that.
Yeah.
He knows what the goal is.
Yeah.
And then he just makes micro adjustments along the way in order to make sure the plane gets there. Because if he didn't do that, he would be flying to Florida and end up in California.
Yes.
And I think it's just key to have that plan, know what you're doing for the team, and then make your adjustments weekly, daily, monthly.
Yeah. Brilliant. Now, as leaders, it's imperative for us to take that time and plan and think and strategize. As team leaders, how often are you planning?
For me, quarterly right now. And that's been something I've worked on in the last year for sure. And 2020 is still in the making for me right now. Last night we were actually working on the growth calendar over the phone conversation. And goal-wise, it's really taken a realistic count into effect as well. And I really fell ill to taking everyone for what their goal was for 2019.
Yeah.
And like you said, and it's not failing. It's not failing by any means. We were very successful in the deals that we did, but we had very unrealistic expectations for the deals that we wanted to do. So I'm really breaking that down levels deeper and digging down into the why and looking into the personal aspects of the team's life to back up and motivate that goal, which they have this year. But then again, it is putting in a system to hire and fill the gap as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andre, how often are you planning, strategizing, thinking?
I minimize it down to weekly.
Okay.
I've got time set on my calendar daily just to think.
Yes.
We don't do enough of that, so that allows me to sort of front load it, and then Sunday nights, every Sunday night is planning.
Okay.
Planning for the week, planning for the month. Those micro adjustments are continually happening, and then we do our big stuff quarterly. We do quarterly business planning. Like to go to monthly. I just think that's too much right now.
Yeah.
And I do it.
Nice.
Okay. So for someone who plans and sets aside time weekly to think, and just because so many of us, we don't schedule that into our appointment, what are the questions you're asking yourself during those times?
I kind of go back to kind of how Gary holds himself accountable and how he holds the people in his world accountable. Simple questions. So, what was the goal? How do we do? What do we feel about it? What are we going to do better next week? And that's it. I don't complicate it. I don't overthink it. I just answer those 4 questions and be real with myself, and then make adjustments to make it better next week.
Nice.
Brilliant. And what are the questions you're asking of the people that you're leading currently?
The exact same ones.
Really?
Yeah, everyone.
So
Top
it's the
down,
same
right?
question that you ask yourself, you're asking the people that you're leading.
Absolutely. And it's the same questions my coach is asking me too.
We're all smiling for cameras.
And when I hop on with my coach, the first 5 minutes, that is it.
Nice.
Same 4 questions. So it happens all the way through. I'm accountable, and everyone in the organization
Trickle rights now.
has to.
Brilliant.
Speed of the leader, speed of the pack.
Yes.
How often have you heard that one, Colin?
Yep.
How do you keep, not to say leaders have to go 100 miles an hour, but leaders have to be consistent. How do you keep your consistency of your leadership? Like, how do you keep that, with the cruise control on, perhaps? What are you doing there?
No such thing. No such thing as cruise control.
Cool.
When it comes to leadership, I think it's coming from a servant mindset. So one of the things, and Chris and I worked on it once upon a time, and most teams are set up this way: team leader at the top of the pyramid, and then everything falls downhill. And those teams fail. Those people are never happy. You hear people complain about their team leaders. We thought, well, what would it look like if we flipped it? We put ourselves at the bottom and support it up. Support the admins and let the admins support the agents. Kind of the same way Gary said. The agents were the asset, and that's why he built Keller Williams the way he did. So from a leadership standpoint, we just embrace that, modeled after Gary, and support everyone else. What happens there is you are constantly growing yourself through that.
Nice. That's huge.
Yeah, that is. We're all kind of like, wow. There you go. Nice.
That's awesome.
'Cause we all went like this. It was like this after that.
Yeah.
It was. I know I had it there somewhere. Anyways, look at that. Our podcast jingle's coming up. Anyways, we'll just talk over it. So, as I
like it.
start moving to the
I
beat.
like it.
Yeah. It's supposed to turn off here. Turn off.
There
we
we
go. So what's in store for 2020?
Sure.
For me, gross. We're gonna.
Sorry. Let me answer. Let me ask the question differently. Jerry, what's in store?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's we're building out the plan right now to fill the gap and grow the team and continue to develop as a leader and gross over $1 million GCI by the end of 2020. And got a new coach who's putting a plan in place and developing the skills that need to happen: recruiting, finding talent, and retaining talent.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Got a question for you, Andre.
Okay. Same question.
No. What's in store for the first quarter of 2020?
Yeah, exactly.
First quarter 2020, we've got our eye on a new location that we plan on opening in the first quarter.
Amazing.
So that'll happen. We want to we're retooling and structuring our systems right now with the ops team. We've got to hire 2 new people, so a marketing director, if anyone's looking, marketing director and a client care person. We're bringing both of those in. And we're shifting our transaction coordinator to just doing transactions now, so instead of spreading thin.
Yeah.
So we're going to hire. I've got 3 more agents I'd love to recruit in that time, 2 for the hub, 1 for our first expansion location. And first quarter, we've got tagged at about 85 units.
Amazing.
Nice.
So with that, like you rightfully mentioned, like these are massive goals set aside for the first quarter of 2020. What are you doing now to find talent to help you grow the business to that level?
It never stops, right? I mean, one of the things that I started realizing through my coach is he mentioned that, Gary Keller's actually planning 2020 at the start of 2019. So we're planning at the end of the year, and he's already done it. He already knows where he's going. And so we're trying to embrace that level of thinking where we're just focused way ahead of it. When it comes to recruiting and finding talent acquisition, it's a conversation that never ends. I've grabbed like 3 people in there and already said, like, how are we going to get into business? We are constantly, every single day, lead genning for talent. It's just a different lead generation. Right?
Yeah.
The average agent cold calls and door knocks for real estate sales. I'm cold calling and door knocking for agents to be in my world. So it happens every day. And so I set a metric around it. I've got to go on 2 recruiting appointments every single week.
Okay. So now, sometime we might go to the restaurant. It might be someone who's great. We would like to get into business with that person, but we don't know where they'll fit in the organization. Walk me through that.
I would look at it and say, get deeper on them, get deeper on their questions and their goals and their motivation. You can find or create the role once you find the who. When you look at Holly Priestner on stage today, Holly's working with Suarez as head of talent acquisition, which is exactly what you're talking about right now.
Yep.
Yet, a year ago, Holly recruited Josh Team to Keller Williams, president of Keller Williams.
Yep.
So you can find talent everywhere, and I think it's worry less about where you're going to fit them in and worry more about what their goals are and can you help them achieve it. Because once you figure that out, the role will show up and they'll create it for you.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
There's no sound effect for that.
Yeah, that was a
We've
fist
used
bump.
them all.
That was a fist bump. Yeah.
Like an emoji. Yeah. Emoji in a podcast works really well. I found. Cool. Okay. So as we kind of wrap this up, I'm going to steal Colin's favorite question because he hasn't asked it yet.
Okay.
So that means I get to.
Yes.
Jerry, what does success look like for you?
I'd say it's freedom to spend time with my family, freedom to do what we want, and influencing the people that are closest to me, improving them and allowing them to hit their goals.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. Andre? What doesn't success? No.
I mean, similarly to Jerry, I mean, my why is about building a world that others can achieve what they want through me. And so as long as that's happening, as long as people are hitting their goals and doing what's necessary through our organization and continually growing, then I am successful.
Right. Love it. So this is the hang on, before I get to that, I want to know, or not the people, our listeners, our watchers, how can they connect to you?
Yes. How can people get in touch with you guys?
Text me, 519-505-2775. That's the easiest way. I'll answer every time.
Yeah, same, 519-635-4799.
Good, because I thought you were going to give them.
Andre's number. Now, are you guys on social media?
We are on social media.
Which one is the best one to connect with you there?
Instagram, UnderchinKW on Instagram. Jerry.Van Leeuwen.
Yeah, Jerry.Van Leeuwen for Instagram.
Spell
and then
that,
Facebook.
everybody.
Yeah,
Good
just
luck
spell
spelling that. Yeah.
Find me.
I saw you spell it on the laptop.
Connect with us. We're friends with them.
Friends. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. We'll tag them on this post too.
Yeah.
So from us, thank you. And this has been the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast.
Nice.
Times 2.
Yeah.
And we're at the Real Estate Growth Summit. Looking forward to what's coming up here. But thank you for being on the show, boys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you,
We
man.
appreciate you so much.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it, guys. Thank you.